Sometimes I didn't make my bills. I thank God I had a couple of good friends who would keep me afloat. If it weren't for them, I would have been living in a box under an overpass. My name is Sheila Bilven, and I'm 55 years old. I'm single, no children, except for my 3 fur children. I'm originally from Westerly, Rhode Island. I went to University of Rhode Island for a couple of years. You know, I just got to the point where I just couldn't afford to stay in school when I was pursuing that. I found administrative type work, and I've pretty much been doing that ever since. I got bitten by the HR bug and I said, that's it, that's what I want to do. So that's what I've pursued ever since. I love HR. I was working for a bank as a sourcing specialist, which is a little more specialized part of HR. I had been there for a year in a permanent position, and we knew pretty well that there were going to be layoffs. They let us know that there were going to be layoffs, and they kept on updating us that it was going to be sometime within the next few months. My boss came to me and said, can I see you in my office? And right away I said, oh boy, this can't be good. So I said, okay, let's just get this over with. It was still a stunner, even though I fairly knew it was coming. I lost my job in February of 2009. That was just when the worst of the recession was beginning to hit. There were no jobs. There were no jobs for a good 6 months. Nothing. Nothing in HR. I knew that it was going to be difficult to find another job. There were a lot of banks that were failing. So we knew how bad the economy was. We knew that it was going down, and we knew that it was going to get worse. Ageism is alive and well. It is absolutely alive and well. It's more subtle than it used to be because it's very actionable if you can catch people at it. But it's very hard to catch people at it because it's not anywhere near as blatant as it used to be. People don't say, no, you're too old, we're not going to hire you. What they tend to use most often is, well, we're kind of afraid you're overqualified for this. That's the kind of the catchphrase. I was out of work for 15.5 months. I was on unemployment compensation. I had to make a lot of adjustments. Unemployment was a 50% pay cut for me. And even though I lived pretty frugally when I was working, I never was any kind of a spendthrift. And what I was making before, wasn't a huge amount of money. Having a 50% pay cut, yeah, that was a wake-up call. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult, because by the time you figure in rent, utilities, food, and just a few minor things here and there, it's gone. So I ended up having to go down and apply for food stamps. And I gotta tell you, that was one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. I'm 55 years old and I can't feed myself. I've been working since I was 16 and I can't feed myself. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. And all I want to do is work. I just want to work. So I did the traditional things of posting my resume out on the job boards, but I also had a pretty good substantial list of contacts in the industry. I had a very big contact list on LinkedIn, and that's what you have to use. You can't depend on any single resource, and sometimes the things that you find are sheer dumb luck. I was watching the news at breakfast one morning. Good old Channel 10, Frank Coletta, happened to me. There's a segment on the news where they talk about what jobs are out there, and Frank happened to mention, well, the DLT is hiring, and I said, well, I never even thought to look for state jobs, because before, all you heard was, you got to know somebody to get a state job. So I went in and I had the interview. He said, this is so-and-so from the DLT. Yes? He says, we'd like to offer you the position. Really? Thank you! And he says, well, I take it that you're going to accept. Yes, I am. So they gave me 2 days notice. That was a Tuesday. They were going to start me on Thursday. So, okay, that's fine. So what it is it's a stimulus position. Thank you, Mr. President. And it's the jobs creation program. Basically, I'm the business liaison between the businesses and the program itself. And it's a great program. Unfortunately, it's ending in 2 days. So unfortunately, I and a whole lot of other people are going to be out of work again, unless Congress picks up a miracle, pulls off a miracle in the 11th hour and decides to re-up the program. Unemployment again. It's boy, it's a tough thing to think about, but it's something I do have to think about. It's back to the salt mines again. It's back to pounding the pavement again. It's back to networking again. It's back to renewing my contacts again. Back to doing what I was doing again 4 months ago, looking for work.